Alright guys, this is Showtime with Showtime Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. Alright, so it's 28th of December now. We're going to run that sale of the 10% off with the old prices through the 31st like promised. And besides that, main thing I want to talk to you guys about today is just having a purpose for what it is that you do, okay? Because there's reasons we go to work every day, right? Even if we love our job, right? There's more to it than just because we love it, usually, right? Because most of us would not always do. I think I still would, but with the personal training, anyways. But most of us wouldn't go to our jobs, 9 to 5s, or our swings, or graves, or OTs, different things, right? If there wasn't some reason behind it, right? Other than just the money, right? Because there's too much else out there to do. So, if you had the option, hey, you want to go to work today, you want to go to the Grand Canyon, you want to go fishing, you want to go spend time with your family, you want to go on vacation, most people are going to choose those other things, right? Their hobbies, their enjoyment, their entertainment. It's natural. It's a human thing. So it's cool if you love what you do, but really dig into why you're doing it. If you just can't find anything else, then that can get depressing, and maybe if you can't figure out a purpose or a better job, maybe just drop it and just keep grinding it through. But sometimes it's good to answer that question, because sometimes you go, man, you know what, fuck, it's all right job, but fuck, I'd rather do something for the same amount, maybe even a little less, but something I actually enjoy doing, right? You can look at that, or you look at the job you're doing and go, you know what, it's not really helping people. In fact, we're taking people's money, right? Let's do something that helps people. I'm going to do this job instead, okay? Or maybe you love this job, this other job, might like it the same, might like it a little better, a little worse, but bada bing, bada boom, end of the day, this one's way better money, so fuck, take that one, right? So it just depends why you're going to work, or you're getting enough time with your family. It's all important questions. But just to touch on why I do what I do, right? Why do I like to personal train? For me, it's a no-brainer. I mean, I could sit down, that's easy, right? I like to help people, okay? I love to train. I love to train other people, right? I've coached multiple sports, okay? Since 5 years old, I've been competing, okay? Or at least, the parks and recreation sports like basketball and things like that. But I've been competing and doing little kid wrestling camps since age 5, right? Wrestling since age 5, doing football since junior high, right? Through college, and even a little bit after college, right? I did, what else did I do? Of course, the bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, that kind of a thing. That's where most people know me from. I've coached as well, right? Not just personal training, but ever since I've, got out of high school, right out of high school, I had a job, not even going to any college courses yet. To go into the Navy, before I go into the Navy and everything, I had the opportunity to coach football. So I coached junior high football in the fall, okay, late summer and early fall, right, the whole season. And then half a season. The only reason it was half a season, not a full season, is because I could have fucking stuck around. I didn't have to go military or nothing, right? I could have went right into the workforce. But I wanted to just go to school and all this stuff, right? So before I go to the Navy, I'd already done for the school district, right? Football and wrestling as a coach, right? 7th grade football coach and a high school assistant wrestling coach, okay? So we did fucking good too. We had a winning season. We won all but like 1 or 2 games. So winning season in football. Never coached football before, right? Matt McKinstry, his dad, he was my coach, right? One of my coaches. I had some really good coaches throughout the 3 years, but he was one of my favorites, right? Great guy, nice guy, and but an awesome coach. Got you motivated, got on your ass, if you were fucking around, but we were smart in that, right? But I shouldn't say messing around, messing up, right? You our case we were messing up, or if we weren't quite focused, get in the zone, focus, right? Focus. He would make sure we did that, right? But yeah, Matt's dad was an awesome coach. Well, now Matt McKinstry is coaching, and he's a badass, right? He comes into Ochoa. My son played against him, right? 2 times they won one game, we won one game when he played for Highlands, right? And man, I'll tell you what, they were just they've been just kicking ass. He came in, and in about 3 to 5 years' time, they'd won 3 games. 3. That's it. They lost like 27, right? So he comes in with that kind of a program, and I know how he feels because my dad came into Benton City, and they were 0-9 most years, right? And they were, if the last time they couldn't even score a damn touchdown. So my dad comes in the first game, they lose like 35-14, and the freaking just they're jumping around in the stands and freaking celebrating like they won the dadgum Super Bowl, right? And or the state championship if it's that level, which is high school, right? And that's what's going on. They're running out of the field and stuff like they won the game, right? And they're going, oh yeah, and this. He's like, what's all the excitement? I goes, we won. We got 14 points. My dad's like, but the other team had 35, right, or 40 or whatever it was, right? And he was just the difference in mentality, right? And he turned that team around, of course, and he was coach of the year one year. They were 5-0 at one point for the first time since the season was over at that point. But they've had that had been the first time they'd been undefeated since like 1965, right? Yeah, he really turned that program around. But so did Matt. So Matt at Ochoa flipped that fucker, right? And now since he's been there, they're like more like 27-3, right? Big difference, okay? Big difference. You have the right coaches, right? Because my dad had really good athletes at Pasco High, really good athletes at Morton, not so good at Benton City, but he good one here and there, right? But the really good ones, a lot of times they'd sneak into Hanford and Richland and these other Tri-City teams, even Prosser, they'd get in there, right? Prosser, Pasco, Kennewick, Kamaikan, Richland. There was no Southridge back there. Didn't exist. No Chihuahua back then. Didn't exist, right? But yeah, and well, towards the end there, tail end of my dad's career, I think some of those schools started popping up. But that's where my passion is, helping people, right? And I think I don't always like to get on people to be a coach or a personal trainer, this and that, because it takes a certain type of a mindset. You got to be in it for the right reasons. If that makes sense. We watched a movie. It was a spiritual movie. I can't remember the dadgum name of it. It was a good movie though. And this guy coaches basketball, and the whole destiny just flips. Okay, it seems like it's a failure. It seems like a setback, but it was God's way of a setup for something better, right? So he gets this gal, and she's cross country, and he didn't want to coach cross country, man, right? He didn't want nothing to do with it, right? But they talked him into it. So he shows up. One kid, that's it, okay? And she has asthma, right? So he's like, oh man, this sucks, right? So, with me, I'd just be like, all right, cool, we got one, let's do the best we can, right? But he had a hotshot basketball team that was supposed to win state because all those guys were coming back, right? This factory shuts down, long story short, and so that was a Fugazi now, but the whole thing was that it was up in the air. He may or may not have a basketball team. Well, fuck, man, towards the end of the season, he was so focused and dialed in on his girl. She's doing so damn good that he wasn't even thinking basketball anymore, right? And here's what happened to her numbers. He runs into this guy completely on accident. This is how things that seem like flukes really aren't flukes, and how setbacks are set up. So he goes to the hospital, not because he wanted to, right? He gets a phone call. Yeah, you coming in for the thing your wife volunteered you. He looks at his wife and he's like, what? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you I volunteered you. I forgot to tell you. So he's an hour out. He said, I take a shower and get to the shower room and everything. So he goes, takes a shower, gets to the hospital, goes to check on his guy, right? Well, the pastor hasn't talked to him yet. So he's got to wait another 5 minutes, which no big deal, right? Well, he stumbles into this room on a complete accident. He was looking for the bathroom or what he was doing, right? He was looking for something or somebody, right? So he runs into this guy had lost his sight. And so long story short, he becomes friends with this guy. Then he finds out that his friend is the husband, the father of this gal that he was coaching. So this gal with asthma is his daughter, right? And so he had some things in his past that he had made right over the years. Realized what he had. Because the problem with life, right? You really don't know what you have until it's gone, right? You realize that you really had some cool shit, right? When you start losing stuff, okay? And then it's too late a lot of times, okay? And this guy, he was able to make things right at the end of the movie, which is phenomenal. But this gal is his daughter, he finds out, right? So they reunite and the whole 9 yards. Well, he's now able to be in her life where he was mentally immature at the time, right? Had a lot of success, a lot of women, got into the bad stuff. Then his wife died on him, and that freaked him out. And they were both addicted to drugs and got off of those and everything, but mostly because they almost killed him, and he did kill his wife. He abandoned his child, right? So they reunite through this whole thing, and that whole thing just kind of came together on what would seem like just a circumstantial stuff and a fluke that was all, God putting it all together. Whether you believe in God or not, or you believe in karma, or whatever it is, just because that's a karma thing too if you don't believe in God, right? You do the right thing, you help people out, you volunteer your time, your wife volunteers you without you knowing it, but with good intentions, right? And things start happening, right? And that's exactly what happened, and it was a really good movie. And that's kind of how you have to think as a coach or a trainer in order to be really good at it, I think, because just because you're an awesome athlete in your day, right, does not always make you the best coach. Sometimes, absolutely, you can make anything look pretty. You're going to do an out route as a coach, plant the foot, go, right? Show them the cones. You can demonstrate all these exercises. The better you demonstrate them, the better your kids are going to do it, right? Normally, right? You'll show them all fucked up because you're an average mediocre athlete, and the kids might imitate that, right? Kind of like, when I used to show my clients squats, because my dad taught me how to squat, I taught people how to squat, right? We almost did ours like a good mornings. Well, everybody coming out of Pasco was doing good mornings, right? So, doing the Cromer squats, and now I can demonstrate perfect form, and not so much now I blew my knee out, but my clients can start doing perfect form, right? It all goes hand in hand. So that's a valuable asset. But a lot of good athletes, they try to do the coaching thing, and they get too frustrated sometimes. I'll tell you why, because you got different levels of athletes, right? From elite to not so good to almost horrible, right? And if you don't have the right mindset because you haven't seen it before, experienced it before, you may not realize that some of these seemingly bad athletes can become great, right? Like this gal comes in 34th place, her first run. He's thinking, it's going to be good just to survive the season and not come in last, right? Well, then she comes into the next race, she's fucking 11th place, right? Then her dad coaches her through with a little earbud, right? And earbud, not bug. And she fucking runs the race, fucking wins. So when she was 11th, the defending state champion was there, and the coaches secretly pulled the top 4 girls aside from these other teams. You guys have a chance to win it this year, but there's your biggest competition. That's a defending state champion over there. And then the coach pulls the hotshot defending state champion aside, and he's like, "You see those 4 girls over there? They're gonna give you a run for the money. You beat them, you got it again, 2 years in a row, right?" Didn't see that other gal coming, right? She had the earbud in. The dad was coaching her all the way through because he was top 3. So here's another thing with doing the right thing when you're a younger person and you get a gift, right? Take advantage of that, right? Because he was able to mend that relationship with his daughter, but because they had that chemistry of being in the same, that rapport of being good at the same sport and being top 3 in the state, he was able to coach her through. So now he not only helped her get to his level, but passed it, right? Because she won the whole fucking thing. First place, state champion, first year she'd ever competed. That's pretty impressive. And she wasn't even a senior, right? She was like sophomore, I think. Sophomore, junior. Maybe even I think it was just sophomore. But sophomore, junior. And yeah, it took state in first year. So that's the thing of having a good coach. And the other thing with coaches that were kind of, sometimes the best coaches were kind of mediocre or maybe even a little inferior. Why? Because they had to work harder. Why is that beneficial? Well, I can tell you from being 108 pounds, you gotta have some fucking patience if you're gonna get up to 277, right? Took a long time, right? So if you don't have that kind of patience, and you were lucky enough to get there just bada bing, bada boom, it's gonna be hard for you to have patience. Now you can get that patience through learning from other coaches and time if you stick with it. You don't get too frustrated and quit or decide, you know what, I'm working only with elite athletes. I'm a specialist and that's it. Okay, I've seen successful coaches do that too. But if you're going to be a coach that's going to be able to step up and coach at all levels, like I like to do, right? Because my dad's always done. Then you got to work with all levels, from the best to the worst, right? And can one that's not got the greatest potential and genetics and everything else, and has 2 left feet, can they kind of bring your reputation down? Well, they can if they quit. If they don't, they're going to continue to get better, you know. But yeah, anybody can quit anyways, you know. Even if you got a top athlete, if you got shitty communication skills, they might quit on you anyways, right? If you're kind of an asshole and you don't know how to talk to people, right? Or they might just decide to bounce coaches on you, and you might not do nothing wrong. You might be great at your job, and they might get impatient. You know, you don't know what's going to happen in this industry, and you don't want to take it personal, because it's fun to see your people succeed. So if you have anything to do with it or not, they quit on you, but then they go summon the trainer, coach. People with the ego, I guess, is going to have a hard time with this. But if they still do well, especially if they took some time to train with you, believe it or not, you're still part of that person's success. You may get no credit for it, little credit for it, no credit at all, 0. But you still have something to do with that. And some people's egos won't accept that. But I don't give a fuck, right? I want all my clients to have success. So if they do it on their own later, they switch clients. What disappoints me the most is when they go, you know what, I'm going to do it on my own. I got the hang of this or whatever. Or they bounce around, whatever, and they just, boom, quit, right? That I don't like. Especially if they've made these just phenomenal, maybe 90-day transformations and then stuck with it for a few years after that, or they do the 180 days or 90 days, but then boom, quit. Well, fuck, then they gain it all back and then some, right? Whereas if you at least continue with the lifestyle, whether you're eating clean or not, you'll keep your shape. So every time you diet down again, boom, look phenomenal all over again. And even when you look bad, you don't look bad. Because oh, you're still in really good shape. You still got no fat on you, did it right? Because you're continuously doing that lifestyle. And your protein's always high, whether you're eating like shit, or you're eating clean, or eating high protein and low carbs with high fat, or hitting the high protein with the high carbs, or the moderate carbs and the low fat, right? Whatever macros you're doing with the coach, more than likely he's going to have your protein set for you, right, at fairly high, and he's going to have a lot of people having anywhere from 1 to 2 grams per pound of body fat, right, of body weight, right? So 1 to 1.5 for most people, right? And if you start studying this shit, it's not rocket science, man, and anybody can do it. But it's so much easier if somebody just hands you something and says, here, eat this and do that, right? Especially in the beginning when you're trying to get all this shit figured out. Because life gets in the way, like I was telling you before. And why would you do that, right? Why would you let something else get in the way that's not as important? Well, I'll tell you why, right? And this is not necessarily your case, but it's most people's cases. You for some reason, we get to the point where we start to think that anything we do for ourselves now is selfish. That's not true, okay? If you're doing something positive to work on yourself, better yourself, right? Physical fitness, right? And nutrition, okay? And weight training. That's the magic formula, right? That's the Showtime shredded triangle of success, right? You take any one of those three things out of the triangle, you eat shitty, or you don't do cardio, you don't do weights, it's hard to gain the maximum, hold the maximum amount of muscle while losing fat simultaneously, tightening and toning up. Fair enough? Although you're still going to get some results off of even one point of that triangle. But you want all three for optimal results, right? Plus whatever supplements and vitamins and everything else you should take for your health, right? Optional, not mandatory, okay? But these are the types of things that make you successful. So if you do these things, right, what's that going to do? Potentially, it's not guaranteed, right? We're going to stack the statistics in our favor, okay? Statistically, you have a better chance of living a longer life. And whether you live a little longer or a lot longer, okay, the quality of life is almost always better, right? More energy, okay? Feeling good. Would you rather feel 20 or 30 years old and be 40 or 50? Would you rather be 40 or 50 and feel fucking 70 or 80, right? And who knows, what health problems can come down the line, right? That maybe you're able to eliminate or postpone by getting into health and fitness, right? So become a better husband, better mother, better father, better daughter, better son, better wife, better girlfriend, better boyfriend, right? Better son, better daughter, okay? Depending on where you're at, if you're male or female, if you're young or old, right? What your family situation is, friends, okay? Co-workers, subordinates, employees, supervisors, right? Wherever you're at, it's going to help you be more proficient at your job or your business or your sport. And it's going to help you in every endeavor of your life. Fair enough? And it's the best high you can get. You said do your daily deposits of sweat equity, right? And you got to go in there day in, day out. It's discipline and consistency. That's it. But it's a better high. Now it's going to kick in right away, okay? It's not like if you're going to go and take a couple shots, okay, in the club of tequila or whatever else, right? You're going to feel it almost right away, right? Even that's a delay, right? Whereas you chug a beer, you might feel it right away. You take a couple things of tequila, you're like, I'm not feeling this. And then one or two more. Man, the room's spinning now, right? You're sick if you're not used to it, right? And you're used to it, and it doesn't affect you. We have a problem here, right? Houston, we may have a problem. Drinking problem, right? And other people are so dedicated to their drinking, they're like, I don't have a drinking problem because I'm not a quitter, so I'm not going to quit anytime soon. I'm glad you enjoy your lifestyle, but I don't know. I would rather get that buzz or that high from the gym, right? So these people that are trying to get their relief, their stress relief, and their emotions either numb or to feel good, okay? They like to do that sometimes through drugs and alcohol, right? Well, this is better, right? Because it lasts longer, right? It takes longer to kick in. It might take a few weeks, right? But once it kicks in, it's instant. It's almost instant. As soon as that pump hits or that workout hits, man, it's almost instantaneous, right? And it lasts throughout the day a lot of times, right? It'll linger on after the pump wears off a lot of times. It can go on for hours sometimes, right? Sometimes a few minutes, sometimes hours, it depends, right? But it's a natural high, right? So you don't have to shoot it. You don't have to like a shot. You don't have to shoot it. You don't have to snort it. You don't have to poke yourself for it, right? You just have to sweat for it. It's called sweat equity, okay? You don't have to shoot it up. You don't have to take shots, right? You don't have to drink it like a beer or nothing, right? All you got to do is work your ass off, and it'll pay dividends, right? And these compounded movements we do over and over again without taking a break. A break meaning we don't take more than a week or two off a year, right? Or maybe even a day or two a week if you want to go year round. But this bullshit week on, week off, month on, 2 months off, shit like that, like shooting a gun, you can come back and keep getting better. It doesn't work that way with health and fitness. It's got to be a year-round lifestyle, right? But the good news is it compounds over time, gaining the muscle and all that stuff, just like the stock market, right? So it might kind of go slow in the beginning, But after a few years, or maybe in just a few months, if you're really doing it right, and maybe have some genetics to go along with it, man, you are gonna have something solid, man, and something that compounds over and builds over time. But you have to continue to make those payments of sweat equity throughout your life, because it's one of those things to lose it or use it or lose it. What I found, if you go a minimum of 2 to 5 years, just solid bang, 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 and you fuck up and you something happens, life happens or whatever, and you get out of it for a while, it comes back, boom, way quicker than if you just do it off and on, right? 2 to 5 years minimum, but solid, and then you have a lapse in time, and you seeming to lose everything. Sometimes it'll come back on people within 1 to 3 months, boom, and that monster physique they had will come right back. Like Kevin Levrone, he's a perfect example of that. And there's a lot of, he was 54 years old, okay, and he got significantly smaller, right? And he gained most of that size back, okay? Had he not had all of that muscle built for so many years, it wouldn't happen like that, right? It's that he had put in his time, okay? But that's all I've got to say for right now. I do not like the movie Pain and Gain, not the real life part of it. I love the movie as far as I've watched it multiple times because they did a good job of writing it and they got likable actors in there. But that's a perfect example of people who should not be in the fitness industry. They should not be, and at least not as personal trainers or mentors or anybody who's going to have precious lives in their hands to try to help them be better people, right? This guy was a great guy and was trying to give this trainer some financial advice and things like that. And instead of being friends with this guy, right, he freaking takes this business owner and freaking has a couple of his buddies fucking take all his shit and forced him to sign over. And they didn't have the skill set, right? You can't just fucking go in there. He should know better than this, being a bodybuilder and everything else. You don't just take a bunch of drugs or eat a bunch of food and just in a day get bigger, right? So if somebody hands you a bunch of money, you get the root before the fruit before the root, my life coach says, right? He says if you get the fruit first and you get the you get the root system first, you grow that tree nice and thick, and then you produce the fruit, you always have the fruit, okay? But if you don't have that root system, you just get all the fruit, you're just going to fuck it all off, right? Give the fruit away, eat the fruit gets rotten because you're not paying attention to it, okay? It's the same thing. So he fucking steals this money. Fucking the guy that plays The Rock fucking uses it all on cocaine, goes broke in a week or two, right? So it didn't do him any good, right? And yeah, these guys are just stupid, right? And you do not do that to people anyways. You got to take your own little oath, have your own code, right? You don't do people dirty. You're in this business, you're like a doctor, you're like a nurse. You're saving lives in this industry. Yeah, I'm almost done. You're saving lives in this industry, right? This is some powerful shit. And yeah, you can use it for bad. But you look at most people in the industry, they're not in it for those reasons. You look into it, there's very few people who make big money doing this kind of thing, right? There's coaches who do it volunteer strictly, and they do not get paid, right? A lot of these little league type things, like a volunteer parent or something, right? There's a lot of really diehard coaches and athletes who have competed or coached or mentored for little money or no money, right? Or been paid out of pocket, okay? I spent thousands and thousands of dollars and thousands of hours knowing what I know, learning what I've learned, and helping people and training and coaching people before I made a dollar, before I made a dime, before I made a penny, right? So it's way in the red, right? Before even getting involved. And I didn't even start charging people until I got my certification back in like 2004, okay? So that's when I'm talking, unless of course I was working for the school district and the school would pay you, right? But as far as training people, shit, I was doing that since the 90s for nothing, right? Because we love what we do. We don't do it for the money. We do it because it's fucking cool, right? Because it's helping people, because it's fun to help other people, because we didn't get that way by accident. We had mentors and friends and coaches and stuff in place who taught us this shit, right? Or we hired them, right? And we paid them, right? But we had to get there somehow, you know. You don't just get there, you know, just by showing up. Not usually. Even people say, I did it all on my own. If you really look back on it, there's people that grab you and say, hey, you're doing that exercise wrong, right? Or you go up to somebody and say, man, I want to look like that guy, and you ask them for advice. But sometimes people will take free advice and, oh, I did it all by myself. They don't remember they had help along the way, right? Everybody did. Nobody just did it all on their own. If they read a book that somebody else took the time to write out, right? So just because they spent little or no money learning what they learned didn't mean that they didn't have some help from somebody, some way, somehow along the way. Sound fair enough? And with some of the advices and stuff that we have out there, some of the crap we spend money on, you can eliminate a lot of those things. Pay for your supplementation, your nutrition, your gym fee, your trainer, and everything else, and still be money in the head, still be in the green, because you eliminate a lot of these other bad habits. How many times you go out to the bars every week, right? How much you spend there? Okay? Sometimes you spend a lot more than you would on a personal trainer, right? If you add it up through the years, how much is the trainer, how much is the booze, right? And the food and the this and the that and the other thing, because also teach you how to bring your food bill down, right? All right, it's been Showtime and Showtime Shred Fitness over here. Size, growth, get big. All right. I got the wife chingy chingy again. Chingy chingy chingy. I get out of here because I can hear it out there. Yap yap yap. Nag nag nag. Chingy chingy chingy. So I gotta get going or I'm gonna get in trouble again. I think I'm already in trouble, but I'm used to it. All right. Take care and God bless.